Hey, welcome to my workshop. This week's project is going to be something a little different. I've done a few videos in the past where I've just worked on things actually in my shop, not projects, and that's what this week is. It's been about a year and a half since I've cleaned up my workbench. I try and do it every year and a half. So it's time. And just to tell you a little bit about this workbench, my wife tells me this is the most expensive piece of furniture we've ever bought, which is okay by me because I spend more time with this piece of furniture than I do about anything else. The brand is, I think it's pronounced Sobergs. It's made in Sweden, and the top is made out of 4 1/4 inch thick beech, European beech. So it's a really good material. It's about 24 inches wide. It's 71 inches long. I've got a face vise here, and there's a tail vise on the other end. And you've probably noticed in a lot of videos, if you're not familiar with this type of a woodworker's workbench, it's got holes on it in the top, and these are for bench dogs, so that you can put this dog down in there, then you can put another one here, and you can pinch wood in between to hand plane, that sort of thing. When I bought this bench, I was really intent on really upping my game as a woodworker. Have been distracted with quite a few things in the restoration world, but hoping this year to get back into more woodworking projects. The top is really dirty from where I do all my work on it, so we're going to definitely get that cleaned up. I'll show you a few other things that we're going to do. Down here I got the drawer pack with it, so this piece that sits in here is separate, and you get a nice tool tray underneath here, but this thing is really just a place where it just accumulates junk. Dust, shavings, everything falls down in there. I end up throwing things up underneath there. So the first thing I'm going to do is clean out this tray down here. One of the things this bench came with is this, there's an anvil. So it's an anvil that you can kind of put over the edge here. I've never really used it, but it is, I could see it being very handy to people. All right. So the top of the workbench is actually not fastened to the base. It's so heavy. It just sits in a couple little pegs, but it doesn't go anywhere. But what does happen over time with all the rocking back and forth, especially if you're doing a lot of hand planing and things, is these bolts do come a little loose. So I'm going to tighten those up real quick. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is run over it with a scraper just to get any paint globs or glue residue, tape, that sort of thing off. I'm not trying to get this thing perfect. I like all the character that I've put in there, and I just want a little bit better, more durable finish on it, so it's easier to clean and just easier to work on than the old dirty top. For the product that I'm going to put on this, it recommends sanding 120 and then going straight to 220. All right, my sanding's done, and this thing is slick. And next thing I'm gonna do is give it a wash down with mineral spirits. I'm gonna let it sit overnight, then we'll put the finish on tomorrow. I'm only gonna be finishing the top. I'm not gonna do the sides or the base. This is more about function than trying to have the best looking workbench. So in the past, I usually have just waxed this top with this BRIWAX, and it looks really good and it feels really good. It's super smooth. It just doesn't last. So this time, I've been using this hard wax oil from General Finishes on some of my woodworking projects. So I thought, why not coat this with it? I've got the hardener that we'll mix up here in a second. I'll bring you in closer and show you that, and we'll get this stuff applied and let it sit for a while and buff it off, and then by tomorrow I should have a really good woodworking surface here. All right, I've got everything I need here, so I'm gonna start, I think 2 ounces of this should be plenty. It goes a long way. First thing I'm gonna do is get it stirred up really good. All right, got it stirred up pretty good. I'm actually going to start with a 1 ounce mix. I actually think that might be more than enough. So I'll put 2 tablespoons of the hard oil wax into my mixing cup. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of the hardener. And the hardener just allows this to set up faster. So if I run short, I can always mix up a little more. And then I'm just going to trowel it onto the workbench. I can already tell this isn't going to be enough. I'm just going to work it in small sections. I did put paper underneath the tray, underneath where all these holes are. So that way anything that drips through, and I'm going to try and avoid it so I don't waste material, but anything that drips through will get on the paper and not get on that surface below. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for 24 hours and then decide if it needs another coat. Probably won't, but I'll wait a day and see. Well, I'm not real sure what this looks like on your screen because through the viewfinder, because of the lighting in here, it just doesn't show the true color of this, but maybe it does on the screen. We'll find out when I view it back, but in person, I'm tickled to death with the way this came out. It's got a good durable finish on it that should last for a while, and just love the color that it came out. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed the video. No, it wasn't a great detail video or not much to it, but it was just something I needed to get done, so I thought, why not film it? I'm really anxious to see how well the hard wax oil from General Finishes will hold up. Not a sponsored video, just a shout out to these guys in this product because I think they're really good. Hey, if you enjoyed this and you like antique restoration and like old workbenches, you should check out my playlist. I'll put the link right here for a turn of the century, early 1900s, maybe even late 1800s antique woodworker's bench that I restored. It was one of my first YouTube videos, so If you enjoy this kind of thing, go check that out. Thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.